it was, but somebody leaked.
A lot of people think that Darius Hayward-Bay was the guy who kind of leaked everything out of the locker room. Everybody's pointing a finger at him for whatever reason. I don't have sources to back that up, but just from everything I've seen on social media and talking to other beat writers, Darius Hayward-Bay kind of seems to be the guy that's allegedly supporting everything going on.
I heard he was a DD source. That's the that's what Mark Madden keeps saying. I don't know if you how aware of you of the Pittsburgh media where you are, but
I'm not a fan of Mark Madden, but
not too many people are. The funny thing is, like, he has this war on Juju, and during the like that week between like around Christmas and around Christmas, New Year's, he was just that was like the hot topic is, why is this guy beating up on Juju all the time, and that was the main story. And then this Antonio Brown thing happened. So let's talk about the whole reason we're here. That's because we had a conversation on Twitter. You said you had a friend that said the Steelers are a poorly ran organization masked with great talent.
Yes.
You said he's right. What do you guys?
So I need to kind of make sure that everybody kind of sees this the same way I do before I move forward. Can we agree that the Steelers dynasty teams were phenomenal? They were phenomenally ran. They were some of the best teams in NFL history. Can we agree?
Sure.
Okay. So I'm talking more so kind of post 2010 Super Bowl run, whenever they went to Super Bowl, lost to the Packers. There's just been so many mishandled situations, so many missed opportunities in free agency, so many botched personnel decisions, whether it be on the field or coaching, that another organization would have made changes by now. If let's take the Steelers and let's put them in a place like Minnesota or Detroit, they would have cleaned house by now. Just the kind of stuff that's going on in Pittsburgh is only tolerated because the talent on the team has came through time and time again. We can all sit here and trash Antonio Brown, and that's all good and fine. But, come week 1 of 2019, if he's still in the Steelers uniform and he catches 2 touchdowns first week of the season, is anybody going to care? No, because he's producing. He's doing what he's supposed to do. He's the best receiver in the league for a reason, and he's going out and he's proving that. My kind of take on that is, this is mainly through Kevin Colbert and how the Steelers have drafted in recent history, because some drafts have been good, sometimes it's been meh. Outside of TJ Watt, and I'll throw Ryan Shazier in there as well, just because he was a great player before he got hurt. Their drafts have not been stellar at all. And for a team who historically does not like to spend big money free agency, the draft's the only way to build through your team, and that's fine. Drafting young kids, molding them through your system, and having them play, and kind of cutting money on the salary cap by only paying them on rookie contracts is fine. But if you're not evaluating the talent properly, and if you're not evaluating the coaching talent properly, and you refuse to make changes like the Steelers have this year, how much longer can this go before somebody realizes, hey, this isn't working? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
I'm sorry, we have to interrupt. We have breaking news. This is huge. I can't believe it. Breaking news. According to Alex Kozora, I'm not sure who he is. He's actually really good.
He writes for Steelers Depot. Yeah.
Yeah. He has reported that Antonio Brown has removed the Pittsburgh Steelers from his Twitter bio.
Oh boy, here we go.
Wow, no.
Is
an emoji coming? Is he going to tweet an emoji?
I mean, he did unfollow the Steelers on social media. Yeah. And now it's taking the Steelers part out of it. So
it'll get really serious if on his Facebook page he'll say it's complicated or something on his relationship status. Then we know that it's really serious.
Man, how far as a society have we come to judging people based on their Twitter bios and kind of reading way too much into things they like and all that sorts of stuff?
Well, it was so the story came out that somebody talked to Art Rooney a second, and he said, it's hard to envision him coming back or something like that. As soon as that comes out, Antonio Brown puts out a picture of him shaking Rooney's hand, saying "good business," and then we're all left wondering what that means. So basically, fairly intelligent people have to try to interpret the actions of an idiot.
Antonio Brown can be classified by one term, and that is ambiguous. Everything he does on social media, it kind of leaves you wondering, hey, like, is that good or is that a bad thing? You kind of have to sit there and wonder. And, if you do try to break down everything that he puts on social media, you're going to be left puzzled for days. You'll go crazy trying to do that.
Yeah. But back to your point.
Okay, so I don't want to say the Steelers as like an overall organization are bad. And I'm just talking about present day. Obviously, the Steelers are one of the cornerstone franchises of the NFL. They have been, since the 1970s. I'm just talking modern day Steelers right now, how it sits.
Well, you make great points, and the thing people say about Tomlin, and by the way, we didn't even mention Tomlin. Basically, there is always a fire Tomlin brigade out there, that contingent that always wants him fired.
Yep,
and they're going crazy now.
Oh yeah.
But the main shot against Tomlin is because people say, oh well, Tomlin went to all these Super Bowls and blah blah blah. That's like. But they say, well, you won with Cowher's players. And at first, when you hear that, I think, you know what, that's ridiculous. You don't judge a coach by what they did from the previous team. But there is actually some merit to that. What do you think of when the Steelers of the past 5 or 6 years? You think of offense, you think of one of the best quarterbacks, the best wide receiver, one of the best running backs, this prolific offense. What do you think of the defense? The defense has been a joke, pathetic, a weakness. It is the defense is the main reason the Steelers didn't make the playoffs, on top of the kicker and the referees and all that other stuff. How many times did the Steelers have a lead in the fourth quarter, and then the other team had to drive the ball down, and they did with ease every single time?
Right, like clockwork. It was like watching the same movie over and over again. You know how it's going to end, but you just cling to a terrible towel and you hope it goes differently. But it just didn't this year.
But the thought of, well, you won with Tomlin, you won with Cowher's players. Yeah, you know what? That there actually has merit, because Cowher's teams had those great defenses of Troy Polamalu and Kiesel and those great linebackers and Ike Taylor in his prime and all this stuff. Yeah. And what have they done in the last 5 or 6 years on the draft and free agency? It's nothing but drafting defensive players. And how's that worked out? Now, this is all because a lot of this is because Ryan Shazier got hurt and you can't plan for that. But that's also their fault too, because you drafted a great linebacker, but there was no depth behind that.
Well, people forget before Ryan Shazier got hurt and he inspired our tremendous great city, everybody was not on his side. There was a lot of shade being thrown at Ryan Shazier on a week-to-week basis, just because for the most part in his early career, he was a pretty inconsistent tackler. The year he got hurt, actually, he was having a Pro Bowl year, but he was also leading the NFL in missed tackles as well.
Yeah. He would take a lot of chances.
Oh, he would. And, with his speed, how fast he was, a lot of times it would pay off and sometimes it wouldn't.
Right.
But yeah, the Steelers have drafted, assuming they go defense this draft, which I think both of you and I can agree.
They will.
Yeah, they are. Assuming they go defense this draft, they'll make it 7 consecutive years where they've taken a defensive player in the first round. Okay. We can run through those players right now. Going back to Jarvis Jones, he's a bust. He's not even in the league anymore. Okay. Jarvis Jones was in 2013. 2014 was, I believe, Bud Dupree. Bud Dupree is 1 year away from proving that he is just Jarvis Jones 2.0.
I think he's a major. I think he's a little better than Jarvis Jones, but barely. And not adequate. And I think he's due like $9 or $9.5 million next year because of the 5th-year option or whatever. So they're either going to have to restructure that deal or just get him the hell out of here.
Well, yeah.
So to me, that's a bust.
The thing with Bud Dupree is he's not a terrible linebacker, but for where you drafted him and the first-round money you're paying him, you'd expect better production out of him. And, especially with having a guy like TJ Watt on the other side of the offensive line to kind of focus everything on him and basically leaving Bud Dupree one-on-one, he's got to win a lot of those battles. And he did. But the problem is that he would just overshoot the quarterback almost every single play.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like he's running to the runway. It's like he's running to far, far away from the quarterback or the play.
Right. So 2013 was Jarvis Jones. 2014 was actually Ryan Shazier.
Right.
Who, like I said earlier, he's not on the team right now, but that was something you can't even account for. So I'm not going to hold that against the Steelers. 2015 was Bud Dupree. 2016 was Artie Burns. And while he did have a phenomenal rookie campaign, he's regressed so much over the past
He is now
years.
a complete liability and cannot play one play. He can't be out there for one play now. That is a complete bust.
TJ Watt was in 2017, and he's been a phenomenal player.
Yes.
He's definitely like a cornerstone guy that you can hang your hat on. And then just this past year, Terrell Edmonds. I don't like calling rookies a bust in their first year. Usually you want to give people about 3 years in the NFL to kind of see where they're at and what they can do. First year did not look good, though. And granted, he had a lot of working factors going against him. But wow, did the Steelers really mess that one up, at least from the first year perspective.
It's yeah.
But yeah, you look at all these draft failures and, how inconsistent can a team be whenever it comes to scouting, and taking players, maybe a little bit ahead of where they're supposed to be. A lot of people didn't have a round one grade on Terrell Edmonds. In 2016, Artie Burns was a panic pick. The cornerback they wanted, he went a couple of picks before Artie Burns, and the Steelers panicked. They said, "Hey, we need the corner," and then they drafted him.
Right.
And as far as Bud Dupree and Jarvis Jones go, both of those guys looked phenomenal in the SEC. They just didn't pan out like they should have. But with so many draft failures, you have to look at the organization from top to bottom.
Okay.
And good.
So Shazier gets hurt in December of 2017?
Yeah, that was last year.
Yeah. So okay, and that kind of torpedoed their 2017 season because they just could not recover from that. He was the heart and soul of the defense. But what do they do in the offseason to make up for the fact that they just lost such a good player? They get Bostic, who is just a guy.
Yeah.
Do they draft a linebacker? No, they get a safety. And then we hear, well, maybe we'll just not play 4 linebackers that much. Maybe we'll do more nickel and dime, and maybe one of those safeties will be linebackers, and blah blah blah. Yeah, how'd that work out? Yeah. God.
Well, that just kind of further proves the point that when you draft guys and they're not talented like you expect them to, your failures as an organization are going to be exposed.
Yeah. We don't know who the real defensive coordinator is. People say it's Keith Butler. I'm hearing it's actually Tomlin, and it's like, well, they should get rid of Keith Butler. It's like that wasn't going to happen because it's basically Tomlin and Keith Butler are the defensive coordinator. We don't know who the actual talent evaluators are, or the actual, the person who makes the personnel decisions. That we think it's Colbert, but it could be Tomlin and Colbert. They always say it's like, well, it's a committee, we all decide together. That's just so that nobody gets the blame on things.